This is football, week 8. Here to help us preview, Terron Armstead. We're going to go through some of the big storylines with Terron, longtime NFL offensive lineman, played for Sean Payton, played against, we talk a lot about the evolution of the sport, played against guys like Micah Parsons and Jahri Evans. We talk a little bit about how that changed the sport, changed how you have to go against guys differently. I mean, it's crazy. But a lot of good insight, fixing the Dolphins, 7.5-point dogs to the Falcons. I'm not ready to pick the Dolphins to get off the schneid here. This is football. Is presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today. 21 plus. Got gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, Terron Armstead is here. One of the best offensive linemen of his generation. He's now in the podcast game. I listened to basically everything you put out with the set this fall. What's going on, man?
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I want to start here. I heard you on Chris Long's pod, and that was terrific. He's one of the best interviewers. I can't believe he played in the NFL, and he's the best podcast interviewer going. Like, who can do both? But he was talking about like what you enjoy or what you even notice when it's summer and you're not reporting to camp. And I'm curious an extension of that, where this is the first October. You're going to have Halloween. You're going to have all these Thanksgiving, all of these things for the first time. You're able to just sit around and watch a college football Saturday for the first time, probably in years, in the way you're not getting treatment or whatever. Being retired, what is the biggest difference in late October, early October, late September that you're noticing now that you can actually enjoy a fall?
Yeah, it's a lot of moments really that we kind of take for granted. Being so tied up and tied up into our work. Holidays for sure. Like, I'm looking forward to holidays, and I was just looking around like, where am I going to put a Christmas tree here? I live in Dallas. I've been in Dallas for years now, but it was during the off season. So during the season, I'm in Miami. I had the spot for a Christmas tree. High ceilings, but not the same case here in Dallas. So I'm looking around like where I'm going to put the Christmas tree and try to put up Christmas light. I want to decorate and all those things. I think it's great though, Kevin. I think it's amazing for real to have that. I'm looking forward to it. Thanksgiving, Christmas, watching those games. I've played on Thanksgiving. I've played on Christmas. We've had to push back the Thanksgiving dinner the next day or the day before, things of that nature. So not having that in my schedule now, I look forward to it. I'm truly embracing and enjoying being away from the game as much as possible.
Absolutely, and it's obviously a different perspective on everything. And you're gonna keep noticing things as you go along. Speaking of noticing things, you talked about a couple of the guys that you played against the last couple of years, Jahri Evans being the most notable, where you just noticed, man, the evolution of the game is happening right in front of me. You mentioned Micah Parsons is one of those guys. I'm curious if you could just take me in as deep as possible. It's like what the evolution of that position means to you. Like, having watched it and seen it, okay, the guys in 2013 are different than the guys in 2023 and 2024. Like, how is that position changing, and how are those guys doing it?
Yeah, I think the evolution of the athlete in general, like universally across sports, especially here in the United States, with the attention to the scientific parts of everything, the analytics of everything, nutrition, recovery, just maximizing everything, you know what I mean, with all the studies. And you look in the NBA and you see the Cooper Flags of the world, like 6'10" point guard, and it's going to be more of that. And so on the NFL side, Jahri Evans being one of the strongest people to ever breathe, and Michael Parsons being his size with that speed. Then you got Abdul Carter this year, and you're going to have another next year. Like, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy to see bigger, faster, stronger. And this might be a little off topic, but I think it might even have some relation to the injuries that we see, and why the injuries are as serious as they are. So many Achilles tears and things of that nature. It might be because of the athlete just maximizing all their muscles and ligaments and tendons. Is kind of like too much force.
I hadn't thought about that. But, the athlete thing is interesting to me because it's also the availability of information. It's not just bigger, stronger, faster. It's just also the fact that, like, I heard this on the offensive side, right? But, like, if you wanted to run Mike Leach's plays from Texas Tech 30 years ago, 25 years ago, you had to either go meet with Mike Leach for a month and like do that whole thing, or hire a guy from a staff, or go work for him for a year, right? Like if you wanted to
Yeah.
run that
Yeah.
kind of air raid, and now you can download his playbook in an hour. You can, you can look up all his YouTube tutorials, all that stuff, right?
Yep. Yep.
And I think what's happening now with all of these athletes is you're getting, like, someone had sent me Justin Jefferson giving a speech about how to catch the football. Like, if you're 12, you didn't get that 40 years ago. It's just on YouTube.
Right.
And I think that there's a lot of that now where it's like, if you want to be the best wide receiver of all time, you can just not only train hard, but you can get all this information from the internet, which is endless, and watch every
That's a
single
fact. That's a fact.
angle, the whole thing.
No, that's a fact, and that's crazy to think about. All the answers are out there, and the access, yeah. So, man, you can learn how to do anything on TikTok.
I know.
Anything on planet Earth, you can learn how to do on TikTok. So, yeah, no, that to your point, the availability of information, the access to it, that plays a part.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. You play for the Dolphins. I know that they still hold alongside the Saints a special place in your heart. Things are not going particularly well right now. I think that's an understatement. They've got the Falcons
Yeah, you say
this
that.
week. They're 7.5-point dogs. Someone calls you from Miami Gardens, beautiful Miami Gardens, and says, "Come help me. Just give me ideas on how to fix this franchise. Just give me give me the blueprint. Where do you start?"
I like how you posed that question, Kevin. That's good. That's really good. I can tell you do this for a living. Yeah, so I would say honestly, bro, after watching the film last week, one thing I took from the game that I really don't want to see again is just the style of play, the energy from those guys. I saw a lack of confidence. I saw an inability to trust the teammates. So a lot of guys on defense trying to do it all on their own. So trying to jump in the C gap, jump in the B gap, like mirror the running back, opposed to closing the C gap and letting somebody else fill the B gap. It's a lot of indecision. So I would really, man, I think it starts with that part, like individually, the confidence, and to be able to play free and have fun with this game, because it is a game, it's a sport, it's a kid's game. So have fun with the sport, play the game with high energy, high effort, and really play for each other. Like really trust your teammates to execute his job, and that y'all can go out and play a style and a brand of football that's recognizable. What I saw against Cleveland, I didn't recognize that team. What I saw against Buffalo, even though they lost, like that was more like them guys played with a sense of urgency. They were out there trying to hit. They were out there trying to block and tackle. Like the Cleveland game was just so much indecision. So many guys just second guessing every movement. And it's terrible to see because a lot of those guys were my teammates, and I've seen them produce at a high level. I've seen them close the gap and make that play. But now I see the hesitation to do that. And split second in the NFL, you hesitate for a second, somebody's gone. So that's how I think they fix it.
Yeah, no, and to me, from a football standpoint, it's heartbreaking because it should have worked there. I mean, like 2 years ago, I thought that
Yeah.
they were, when you were there, one of the best teams in the NFL, and then one of the best offenses in the NFL. And then I think it kind of gets rewritten because they started to get injuries all over the front seven, and then I mean, if you can't rush the passer in January, your season's over, right? It doesn't matter what you can do, but they went from a team with genuine pass rush depth to nothing. It feels like that was the window 2 years ago.
2 years ago was definitely that time. Like I felt very strongly about that team. I think it was 2023. That 2023 team, I felt very strongly that was one of the best teams I've ever been a part of. And when I was in New Orleans for 9 years, we've been to the NFC Championship game, seconds away from going to the Super Bowl. We were number one seed a few times. So I've been on some really great teams. That team I would put up there in that same cloth. So the way that ended, it was definitely tough, challenging. We lost Jalen Phillips, lost Bradley Chubb, we lost Melvin Ingram, we lost Xavier Howard. Like everybody it was dropping. And so to see how to this point right now, it's tough to watch.
Yep, I agree. More positive, your former coach Sean Payton He's got the Broncos where he wants them right now. Obviously, incredible win over the Giants. They've got the Cowboys, 3.5-point favorites this week. Explain to me, because again, you want to talk about 2 years ago. He played the Dolphins 2 years ago, and the Dolphins put up 70 points. It looked like it wasn't even going to work
70
out there in
burger.
Denver. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, he's got the quarterback he really wanted. He talks about it all the time. He's got the defense flying around. He's got in the trenches a great offensive line, great defensive line. It was funny. I had Patrick Surtain on the show a couple weeks ago. I said, "What did Vance Joseph do to make you better?" Because he was talking about how much he loved him. He said, "He gave me a good D line. That's all. Like that's all it is. Like you
Yeah,
get a
no,
good D
really.
line, and all of a sudden you're a great cornerback. And obviously it's more than that. But when you look at this Denver team, explain sort of the hallmarks of what Sean Payton wants to do with the franchise that he's doing right now.
Sean's a great coach, man. And the reason why he's a great coach is his attention to detail. Like they will be prepared for every game. It was never a moment that we didn't have a plan for what was going to be presented. And it all looks different. Like he treats every game. He treats the league as a 1 week season, which is probably his superpower because it can look completely different. Like the game against the Giants, they're shut out for 3 quarters. They scored 33 points in the fourth. Like it's just so many different ways that they could win and that they are ready to play because that's how Sean, that's him, bro. The standard that he makes you reach every day, you're never out of it. So you won't see him pull starters down 19-0, 8 minutes left, 6 minutes left. No. We're not out of anything. Like that's him, and for them to pull that off, that's gonna bring a jolt of confidence and momentum for that team. Like that Denver team is really good, man. They're structured in a way, off O-line, D-line, like you just said, that's the winning formula. That's the recipe. Like if you look at the past Super Bowl winners, the Philadelphia Eagles, O-line and D-line dominated. They did. The Chiefs, O-line, D-line has dominated for years. So it's built to be one of those contenders. I really like that Broncos team.
I completely agree with you. Whenever we have someone who spent a long time under a genius, whether that's Bill Belichick, whether that's Sean Payton, whether that's Kyle Shanahan in some cases, I always want to ask them, because it's usually pretty interesting, what the most important thing they learned about football was, or the thing that in a million years you would not thought of this. And then Sean said, hey, Tron, have you ever thought about doing this? Because I teach it this way. Like, what's the one thing about football? And we've had crazy stories on there. Devin McCourty once said Bill Belichick used to teach him how to read wind patterns, all this stuff. But when it's as detail oriented as Sean, give me
Yeah.
something tangible that he taught you about football that blew your mind.
It probably isn't just like on the field. It's more so a thought, and he had a lot of them. He had a lot of like isms, a lot of Bill Parcells is his mentor. Like he idolized that man in everything that he does. And one thing that Sean always talked about and that he wanted to stay away from was the built-in excuses. Like anytime you'll see teams that have things going on, whether it's an injury here or injury there, they have their out already before the game starts. So like certain teams, they already have the reason why they won't win this game. He never allowed that. He does not allow the built-in. Like yes, you could fall short this game. You don't have your starting quarterback. It's okay that you lost. Never. I love that. I appreciated that, and it helped me in my career too because I dealt with a lot of injuries. I couldn't have that, I lost this rep to this guy because my knee hurt or my shoulder hurt. So he really like changed my mentality on, no, there is no built-in excuses. I'm out here. Like I got to perform to the best of my ability. It's not okay to lose regardless of what I'm dealing with. So yeah, that would be one.
Wow, and you saw that, and obviously it got worse. But I remember after Drew Brees retired, and then Drew Brees was battling some injuries at the end of his career. His record without Drew was still a winning record when he had Jameis Winston in there and Taysom Hill. Like there was just this, I don't want to slam anybody, but like I remember a couple years ago, Derek Carr got hurt in the playoffs, and they lost the game. And Connor Cook started. This is the Raiders, and they asked Jack Del Rio after the season. They were like, "What'd you learn from the season?" He was like, don't get your quarterback hurt. And it's like, I flew off the handle because it's like, don't be so defeatist. Like, what are you doing? Giving up? Like, you're just saying, oh, if we have an injury, we're screwed. Like, that
Yeah.
mentality drives me nuts.
And Sean's the opposite of that. Right. Exactly what you just said. He's the opposite of that.
That's awesome. Drew Brees, the aforementioned Drew Brees, just being around it, like, what don't I know? Like, what, I mean, he was just such a machine. The offense they ran, the efficiency that they had, it was just incredible. What don't I know about how that machine was rolling down there?
I mean, a lot of it that you do know
Yeah.
from his long career. So his resume is public, and we seen it. But Drew was a machine. He was like, the way that he prepares outside of Sean preparation and how he game plan. He'll watch a blitz that a defensive coordinator ran from 14 years before, or he ran when he was in college and all that. Like, he will watch that and we'll be prepared for that. Drew prepared at the highest level, bro. Very, very like fine tuned, just really, really minute details. But outside of that and Drew preparation, which I feel like was his superpower, he's the toughest dude you ever come across. Fearless, built different. He's tough, bro. People don't know what Drew was dealing with in his career. Like, towards the end, torn labrum in his throwing shoulder, Liz Frank in his foot, torn meniscus. He was out there. Like, no built-in excuses. Never. He was really like the poster child of that. Short, he's not fast. He's small. He's not supposed to be what he is and what he was, but he's just tough and relentless and competitive to the highest level, like beyond what you can think as far as a level of competitor. Drew was even more than that. It was bad at points, because locker room ping pong game or
Yep.
darts or something, like, he would like literally get upset, like he's mad. We playing ping pong, I'm kicking his ass. He is furious, like hot. So his competitiveness is his number one skill for real.
That's amazing. One more before we get to rapid fire. So you're a small school guy. You went to Arkansas Pine Bluff, 3rd round pick though. The portal exists now, and I'm curious if you were born in 2005 and you had those options, like, how much do you think that has changed a journey like yours? I mean, Jared Verse, you mentioned him earlier, went to Albany. Then he transfers to the ACC, and he probably wouldn't have been a first-round pick from Albany, although, obviously Khalil Mack goes to Buffalo and went top 5. So I'm curious how you think the small school journey has changed, and what that even looks like now in 2025.
It's impossible for me not to think that I wouldn't have went into the transfer portal. When I was in college, you had to, if you wanted to move up, you had to get your release from the school you were at. You had to sit out a year, and then you'll be able to start playing. I just couldn't afford that year. I flirted with the idea. I almost was trying to go to Mizzou, so the University of Missouri. I almost started that process, but I chose not to. I just stayed at Arkansas Pine Bluff. But having a portal where it's so easy to transfer, and the NIL, and I was so broke in college. I'm talking about so broke in college. I would have tried to sign a deal. No lie, like, no question about it.
That's how it goes, man. And to me, the biggest thing, and it was not for you, because you obviously were big and strong enough to play in the NFL. But like, the thing I like about the deals now is that the thing that breaks my heart is when even a big school guy goes to Florida or Florida State or Miami, but he's a step too slow, or arms aren't long enough. He gets cut in his first training camp. He leaves the game having reached the mountaintop without enough money to put a down payment on a house. That to me is what has changed about the sport that I like, is that if you can make $800,000 being the 3rd receiver on Florida State, that to me is a good deal. And I'm going to take that, as far as just from from an ethics standpoint, is like,
Yep.
I like the fact that these guys can feed their families for a long time because of playing high level college football, which wasn't the case 15 years ago. This is Betting is brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Bet $10 to get $100 in bonus bets when you use code Clark. 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. I don't want to move any markets here, but I am 4-0 in these picks when picking these games against the spread. 4-0. So this is our fifth segment. I'm on fire. I've lost on the props. Full disclosure, I've lost on the props, the totals. Don't worry about those. With the picks, I've been nailing them. So while I was going through this, my producer Miles, and I was thinking about maybe the Jets make a move here. And he said, do you really want to stake your perfect record on the Jets? There's a lot of anxiety around keeping this perfect streak alive. And I think I found it. Carolina Panthers at home, 7-point dogs, Andy Dalton, everyone writing them off because Bryce Young looks so efficient against the Jets. How about Rico Dowdle? At least 200 scrimmage yards in the second straight game. The first ever undrafted player to do so in consecutive games. If he does it again this week, this is via Next Gen Stats. If he does it again this week, he's going to join Le'Veon Bell and Walter Payton as the only players at all to do it in 3 straight games. That's where Rico Dowdle is swimming. That's where the end of the pool Rico Dowdle is in. It's a good team coming into their own. I don't know if they're going to win, but that's not the point of this. I do think they're going to play them close. I think it's a field goal game, a 4-point game at home, a lot of energy. People are dying for a winner in Charlotte. Give me the Panthers +7. Rapid fire. We'll start here. We have a thing called one rep back. You get to redo one play of your career. What are you doing?
Redo one play. I got ran over twice.
Oh no! So, who did it?
Everson Griffin was one.
There you go.
I can't even remember the second. The second one was like away from the play too, so I had nothing to do with the play.
What happened with Everson?
Bro, we were in the playoffs and we're fighting tooth and nail to come back. They were kicking our ass at first for 3 quarters. And then all of a sudden we start getting some momentum and we're rolling. We're coming back. And we came back. And that was the Minnesota Miracle when Stephon Diggs scored with no time left. But the drive before the Miracle, I lie to you not, bro. I took 24 bull rushes in a row from Everson. Like just straight bull, because we're down 20 points, so we're passing every play. And he is rushing like a man possessed. Yeah, it was one of those final bull rushes, dog. He ran me completely over, but he didn't get to Drew, and we scored. So it worked.
Oh my God. 20. I do not want to take 24 bull rushes in a row from Everson Griffin. I will say this. I actually told the story over the weekend. I was on the field before a Niners-Vikings playoff game, and the Vikings come out, and I'm just standing there. So, I can just stay there and security kicks me out pregame. And Everson Griffin starts screaming at me. Just screaming to hype himself up. Just like screaming. And so I go up to somebody with the Vikings, and I was like, I thought it was funny. I was like, what was that? And they're like, bro, he's got to hype himself up. He's just a bunch of Vikings people around here. He saw you're sitting in a suit. He's just going to scream at you. He's going to make up his own backstory about who you are, and he's just going to scream at you until he gets hyped up. It's not personal. And I was like, that's a defensive lineman right there.
And make sure you keep your distance, though, Kevin. That's a scary man.
Yeah, it is. All right, so we got the badass wall behind us. All right, the badass wall brought to you by Manscaped. All right, now available Walmart, updated grooming routine, products built for modern men. All right, so whenever we have a guest on here, especially ex-players, we have somebody. You have to nominate a badass, and then we put them on the board back here. So typically it's a teammate, and you tell us why the most badass person you ever played with was who.
That is tough. God, that is difficult. You know what? I'm going to go Jahri Evans.
Oh,
He's
okay.
a Hall of Fame finalist. Yeah. Hall of Fame finalist last year. He should get into the Hall this year. Jahri Evans.
Tell me a story that epitomizes Jahri Evans being a badass.
He is bro, he was really just like the pinnacle of O-line play for so many
Yeah.
years, but he's so quiet and wasn't public and wasn't in the media, so he doesn't get the recognition. But if you watch his film and how respected he was around the league, he was the man. He was just the baddest dude, bro. Played through anything. Like we had a game my rookie year, and he tore his groin in the game. Tore his groin. He's down for a play, and he never went down. Like he never took a knee, no matter what he was dealing with. He was down for a play, come off the field. He's yelling at the trainer, "Wrap me up, wrap me up, bro." A lot of you not, bro. They put like this big ass ace bandage around his hip and inner leg over and over and over and over. He pulled his football pants back up and he went and finished the game. Just
oh my God.
torn groin. Insane. He was not the strongest guy in the weight room, but he would take a D lineman with one arm and walk him 10 yards off the ball. He was different. Badass.
Holy cow. Badass. All right, we'll put Jahri Evans up on the board here. See, we
Please.
got Willie Roaf right there, another Saints offensive lineman.
I saw
Yeah.
Willie, so I couldn't go Willie for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, no, it was funny because Trey Smith was just on the show and he saw Willie, and he before we started rolling, he was like, "Yo, what's with the Willie thing?" And I explained the concept of badasses, and he just loved it. And he'd throw in Joe Tooney and Will Shields because he loves because Willie's played for the Chiefs, so he loves old Chiefs offensive linemen, and so he was all into that. All right, Terron Armstead, The Set, wherever you get your podcasts, also on YouTube. You're having I love that podcast. It's really good, and you have a really good perspective. And I mean, you're gonna be better than any podcast. You're gonna be on the Chris Long wave, where it's like you played great, and then you were a great podcaster, and then all us podcasters like, what the hell? We're that's supposed to be our job. So appreciate you.
You're great at what you do, bro.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.